The Nikkei in Japan has blown past the 34,000 mark for the first time since March 1990, powered by health, technology and consumer services stocks. That's as exporters in the country benefit from a weak yen, but also as investors bet on a delay in the Bank of Japan's plans to end its ultra-loose policy. It follows a devastating earthquake in central Japan, which killed hundreds of people and caused widespread destruction in the region. Rebuilding and fiscal stimulus efforts in the wake of the disasters are widely expected to offset a potential monetary tightening by the central bank. For more on this now, let's bring in Naeem Aslam. He is Chief Investment Officer at Zay Capital Markets. Thank you for being with us today. Naeem, the Nikkei's 2023 rally comes after nearly 30 years of underperformance as Japanese economic growth stagnated after the burst of a massive speculative bubble in the 1990s. What's your view on tech companies right now? What are they doing in Japan and why are they driving this rally?
Sure. Thanks for having me. I think you've answered this particular question right at your opening statement, and that is because there are a lot of concerns. There were concerns about the monetary policy, central banks becoming or taking a lot more hawkish approach in relation to their monetary policy stance. But given this natural disaster that has happened in the country, now it has become a lot more challenging for the central bank to go on a hawkish stance than anything else. So investors and traders are thinking that, look, now there is a situation where the central bank's fiscal policy, monetary policy, both needs to be more accommodative. And with respect to the stock traders or with the stock market, they love dovish monetary policy stance. They'd love to see the BOJ coming up with a more dovish lines so that they know that, okay, there's going to be no tightening cycle. Hence, we're seeing this particular rally across the market over in Japan.
That's interesting that you say that investors and the stock markets, they love the dovish stances, but I wonder, does the real economy love that as well? What would the impact be with the Bank of Japan keeping its ultra-loose monetary policy for much longer?
I think, look, the BOJ was the only central bank which actually didn't adopt the most hawkish stance in comparison to the Federal Reserve, the BOE, RBA, or ECB. You can compare them across the board, so you can see how the economy has performed at that particular time. Now, given the fact every time these sort of incidents take place, there's always this huge tailwind in terms of a fiscal support and monetary policy support, which actually helps in terms of economic numbers to produce a lot more better numbers and come better than the expectations. So you would certainly see, of course, this natural disaster, this is going to hurt the country in the short run. But I think in the long run, there would be more expansion in terms of the data, and then you will see much better economic data coming out of Japan.
Naeem Aslam, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
And now let's go to other top stories from around the world. The price of Bitcoin has shot up to almost 48,000 after an unauthorized Twitter post on the US Securities and Exchange Commission's account tweeted they had approved Bitcoin's ETFs for trading. Officials at the SEC say that there had been an unauthorized access to the regulator's X account. The SEC is expected to make a decision on Bitcoin ETFs this week after years of opposing them. Australia's inflation has cooled to a near two-year low in November, reinforcing expectations that the central bank won't need to hike interest rates again. Consumer prices rose at an annual pace of 4.3%, down from 4.9% in October. Falling fuel prices were one of the biggest contributors to the slowdown. And Hewlett-Packard Enterprise has agreed to buy Juniper Networks for around $14 billion in an all-cash deal. The agreement comes at a time when companies look for large-scale deals following a sharp decline in merger and acquisition activity in 2023. HPE says it expects to close the deal before early next year.